This One's Wife. Why I'm Not Friends with the Sussexes. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Harry used to have quite a lot of friends. He doesn't really bother with them anymore, and as I've explained to you previously, this is as a consequence of the fact that he has been isolated from his friends, as a consequence of the activities of his narcissist wife, and also his own behaviours as he's bought into their awful shared fantasy, with the consequence that many people look on him and think, he's not the person that I used to know. I'm not going to bother with him. I don't like the way that he has now begun to behave, or has behaved for some time. Thus, he has lost many friends, not just because of the increased difficulty that occurs by virtue of the geographical distance that has been put between him and them by travelling to the other side of the world, but also as a consequence of his own behaviours and the necessity of maintaining control over him by isolating him from those perceived problematic influences. You'll recall that a number of years ago that Harry's friends basically thought that this one's wife was nuts as a consequence of her moralising in relation to certain aspects of their behaviour, and it was clear that she was not a fit with them, which was problematic for Harry, but ultimately meant that he chose his friends. Rather, he chose her over his friends. For this one's wife, as I've made abundantly clear, she doesn't really have friends. To the narcissist, the concept of friends, subconsciously, where it's an unaware narcissist, is that they are simply appliances. Appliances that are to be controlled. Appliances that provide fuel, character traits, and residual benefits. In other words, there's no sense of accountability for the friendship, no desire to savour the friendship, to mature and help the friendship grow. There's no sense of maintaining it through mutually respectful and beneficial behaviours. It's simply, what can you do for me? And if you can do something for me, then I have a use for you, and I'll be friends with you. If not, I'll either get rid of you, or you'll just be left on the shelf for a period of time. Thus, that is the attitude of this one's wife to the concept of friends. But what about the attitude of individuals towards her? Well, we have heard in the past from individuals that had been friends with her who found themselves either left on the shelf or in some instances disengaged from, and they are unimpressed with her behaviours. But what about individuals that live where this one's wife and Harry are? Well, according to a report from Fox News, somebody called Troy Aikman, I'm not familiar with who he is, but many of you may well be, reveals why he has not become friendly with Prince Harry and this one's wife. Pro Football Hall of Famer Troy Aikman is enjoying his time off before another season in the broadcast booth with Joe Buck. What he isn't doing, though, is hanging out with his famous neighbours in Monteicto, California. Prince Harry and his wife, this one's wife, also live in Monteicto, but Aikman explained why he doesn't see himself spending any time with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex anytime soon. I haven't run into them, he explained, but they are there from what I can gather. I think anyone with a heartbeat knows that they're out there, but I'm not hanging with them, that's for sure. The Dallas Cowboys legend was promoting his 8 Elite Light beer and joked he doesn't picture Prince Harry and his wife drinking much light beer. Prince Harry and this one's wife moved to Monteicto in 2020, if you'd forgotten, after leaving their senior roles with the royal family. But they don't seem to be making too many friends in their new area. Monteicto residents spoke to Vanity Fair earlier this year, one of whom referred to this one's wife as the starlet, and they believe the unusually quiet town has new annoyances since they arrived. Some of those annoyances include busier streets, increased housing prices, and tourist traffic. But not everyone believes the couple to be local villains. Sharon Stone, another celebrity neighbour, commended them for wanting to make a mark in Monteicto. You know, the thing about them that is so great is they didn't come here to live off our community. Stone told Access Hollywood in 2020. They came here to be a part of our community. My friend said she was sitting in her car and they bicycled across the street and waved at her while she was sitting at the red light. They're a part of our community. They've become a giving, caring, participating part of our community. They're not here to be like, would you like to kiss my butt? Well, it's interesting that she provides that analysis, even though it's actually 5 years old. And it's interesting that Fox News aren't able to find anybody else to talk about them more recently. It remains the case that there are those that still maintain that the mansion at Monteicto isn't where this one's wife and Harry live. That in effect there is a timeshare arrangement with it where it's utilised for the purposes of film and photography, but they live somewhere else. Naturally, it's very difficult to approach the property because it's in a gated community and you're not going to be able to get past the gates without attracting the attention of security. So it's not like you can hang out at the bottom of the driveway to find out if they are actually there or not. And presumably, you may have a long wait indeed if you're hanging around at the entrance to the gated community before you might spot them coming or going. But although this piece is fairly light on information, that's the very point. That this one's wife and Harry, presumably, if they were really embracing the community in Monteicto, would be seen more often. The only occasions that we know about their presence is when this one's wife deigns to let Backgrid know that she's on a parking lot pap walk, or one of our Jawas is missing as she's popped down to do a bit of shopping. Ordinarily, they are never ever seen in the wild. Now, whilst many people may well respect privacy by thinking, oh, it's the Sussexes, yep, we see famous people around here all the time, so we're not going to take their photographs. The fact is that given their presence and that of the stars, ordinary people are in the area, and you would have thought that at least some photographs would have appeared demonstrating that they have been seen in the area. And it is rather unusual that nothing has come forward. No filmed footage, no snatched photography from a camera phone showing them out and about. After all, nearly everybody wanders around with a video camera and an ordinary camera on them because of their telephone, because of their mobile phone. But it's not like there's a legion of people coming forward to talk about their friendships with the Sussexes arising out of them being Monteicto residents, which either supports the fact that they aren't there, hence they've not been neighbourly and made friends, or they are there but simply don't want to integrate with other people, save where this one's wife deems that they'll be of use to her. What do you think, valuable viewers? Do you think they actually live in Monteicto and just keep themselves to themselves, being secreted away? Or do you think it's another ruse that's utilised by them and that they live somewhere else? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.